I'm Dave Wheeler, the founder and maker of Lucky Buck Mineral. I'd like to introduce you to a great product for your retail stores. This will be one of the easiest things you'll ever sell. Money back guarantee for bigger antlers on white-tailed deer, or your customer gets his money back. There's no obligation to you as a dealer, strictly me as a manufacturer. The customer needs to just send in a proof of purchase. They don't even need a cash register receipt to get their money back. Here are a few examples of the deer that have been produced on Lucky Buck. These are wild, free-ranging, white-tailed deer. This is the world's biggest 8-point. He's my claim to fame on the front of the bucket. He gets everybody's attention, and he was on the Lucky Buck for 3 years. The other advantages to the Lucky Buck is the packaging. You can stack it in a triangle, in a pyramid, end cap. You can put it in a pallet. It's freestanding. You can get 100 buckets on a pallet footprint. Practically indestructible bucket. Indefinite shelf life. It can go for years. But the big advantage is that you can sell it practically year-round. I have some point of purchase materials, some literature, some brochures available too that you can see how to use it. The sales will be fairly strong except for January, February, in the middle of the winter. The early spring is when the antlers are growing through the middle of the summer. Then the trail camera use keeps sales strong through the middle of the summer, and the attractant market in the late fall during hunting season. Lucky Buck Mineral is salt-based. It's 2/3 salt. And I get criticized a lot for the salt level being too high. It's that way for a reason. It keeps the deer from eating too much of it. They're strongly attracted to it, but yet they can't overeat it. My background is dairy nutrition. I balance dairy rations for a living, and if I don't know how much the deer are going to consume, I can't aggressively formulate any kind of a nutrient program for them. I have a better handle on how much Lucky Buck the deer will consume than any of the competitors do on their products. Once I know that, I can put an aggressive level in of the minerals that make a difference on antler growth and do it safely. Selenium is probably one of the best examples that I can use. Selenium is toxic if the deer get too much, or any animal gets too much. I can put an aggressive level in because I know they're not going to get too much. I can probably tell your customer closer to how many deer he has on his property than he can, based on how many pounds of Lucky Buck he feeds in the course of a year. We've seen tremendous results on antler growth throughout the country. We've had 5 state records broken in Michigan and Ohio in the last 4 years, plus this 8-point, plus numerous other close to record bucks in areas that don't normally produce them. We've had huge bucks in Florida, Georgia, and across the country, and I'm confident that this will make a difference on the antler size any place in the country. If you have customers that are looking to grow giant antlers on their whitetails, Lucky Buck's the product for you. If you've got guys that are looking for great trail camera pictures, they're going to get a lot more effective trail camera pictures on Lucky Buck than they will on anything else. With the price of corn going up and the amount of corn that a deer can eat when you put it in front of a camera, Lucky Buck makes a lot of sense. Just 1/3 of a bucket of Lucky Buck this time of year will last several weeks in most situations. Feeding Lucky Buck requires no additional equipment or a lot of extra work. It's a lot easier than planting a food plot. You don't need any equipment to prepare the site. Literally, the hardest part of putting Lucky Buck out is getting this lid off the bucket. You take the lid off and then you just dump it out. It has a strong apple flavor and salt base which attract the deer and get them coming into it, and requires almost no effort. One of the most critical things about handling Lucky Buck as a dealer is to make sure you have adequate quantities in the store. I get a lot of calls, and it's very frustrating for me and the customers to not have adequate amounts in the store. Your average guy is going to go through 10 buckets a year if he has 2 sites, and quite often he'll come in and want to buy 10 buckets at a time. If he's running 5 or 6 trail cameras, he's going to want to have enough. I got a call last week. Somebody was looking for 300 pounds of Lucky Buck, and he went to 3 dealers and nobody had the adequate amount for him, and he was quite frustrated. Try and put in a 50 bucket or a 100 bucket display, and you're going to see your sales skyrocket over the course of the year. I have many independent stores, small archery shops, small ag stores that are selling 300 and 400 buckets through a fairly low traffic store. This is a fairly addictive product for the customer, and they love to see the results from their trail cameras and their hunting stands and the bigger racks year after year.